Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Sunday morning. With us today is Frank Tarentino, the Associate Chief of Operations for the DEA for the Northeast region. And, Frank, we were together the other day, and I said to you, I dream about a drug-free America.
You know, John, that is a very optimistic and realistic viewpoint, and that is why the DEA has started with what we call fentanyl-free America. Fentanyl-free America is our unwavering commitment to protect the United States from synthetic opioids, specifically by disrupting, the entire fentanyl supply chain, reducing its availability that hit our streets, but also, most importantly, to save American lives. We focus primarily during this Fentanyl-Free America surge, which just ended yesterday, on increased enforcement operations throughout the Northeast region, John. And we've had some significant success. We're not done, but we've made some substantial progress in this fight against fentanyl. And I'd like to share with you today some of those successes.
Well, tell us, because I dream of a completely drug-free, but I'll take fentanyl-free.
So, John, during the month-long surge in the Northeast region, we seized 350 kilograms of fentanyl, 573 arrests, almost 435 kilograms of cocaine, nearly $8 million in cryptocurrency, and 240 kilograms of methamphetamine. But I want to focus primarily on the fentanyl. 350 kilograms of fentanyl may not resonate with our listeners today, so let me put it into context. 350 kilograms of fentanyl is the equivalent of approximately 17 million lethal doses of fentanyl, which is the equivalent of 5 states in the Northeast population: Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New Jersey. And if that doesn't resonate with our listeners today, that's the equivalent of 240 fully sold out NFL stadiums across the country. We're talking about a devastating effect on our communities. And throughout the Northeast, we've had tremendous successes. We had an incredible operation in our Washington, D.C. area by our Washington Division office that spanned all the way up into New York. They seized a tremendous amount of different types of drugs, to include 63 pounds of methamphetamine, made a number of different arrests. But that is specifically, John, in support of the Safe and Beautiful Task Force in Washington, D.C., which is a priority for our president. But I want to talk more specifically about New York. In New York, we seized 200 kilograms of fentanyl in that 1 month-long surge. John, that's the equivalent of 10 million lethal doses. That's the entire population of the city of New York. So that's the kind of devastating effect that this illicit, very potent, very lethal drug has on our community. And that's the work that our men and women of the Drug Enforcement Administration, along with all of our partners, are doing each and every day to protect this country. Because really, John, it's about protecting the United States of America and our citizens.
And our kids, which is very important to all of us.
That's right, John. We believe very strongly that our children are worth fighting for, our communities are worth fighting for, and our future is worth fighting for. And that's why the DEA has doubled down and refocused its efforts on increased enforcement during Fentanyl-Free America, and most specifically during this last 30-day surge.
And Frank Tarentino, since we plowed down on Mexico for the fentanyl, and since we took over Venezuela, and hopefully those boats are not coming in anymore, how do you see the Northeast region? Is there less fentanyl, less drugs around?
Well, John, this increased effort, not just here in the Northeast region, but across the country and all over the world, has had a dramatic effect on how the cartels operate, how these transnational criminal organizations are moving their illicit drugs and proceeds around the world. And this is an increased effort. So we're going to maintain this momentum. We have a lot of work left to do, but the men and women of the DEA have risen to the occasion, and they're willing to meet the moment because, again, this is about protecting America. And we will continue, John, to work with all of our partners because it really is about the partnerships. We can't do anything by ourselves, and we recognize that the state, local, and federal law enforcement agencies, along with the Department of War and the intelligence community, add significant value to our fight.
Well, Frank Tarentino, Associate Chief of Operations for the DEA for the whole Northeast region, thank you so much for coming in. And we worry about our kids. We worry about our relatives. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for making our city and our country and the Northeast region safer.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you for championing our message and for supporting our efforts.
Thank you.
The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.